Hello, inquirers. This is Leslie coming at you. This is one of my diatribes, so this is a personal rant and not the official position of CFIC. But I heard something on the radio the other day that just uh, got me really, really upset and angry. So I'm coming at you today to give you my unvarnished reaction to that. And I'm hoping that once you hear what I have to say, it will incense you as well, and that hopefully we can take some action collectively to stop a deal that I think is going to be very bad for the country, for Canada. And the story that I heard is an agreement between Manulife, one of Canada's largest insurance companies, and Loblaw, which is our largest grocery chain and also owns the largest pharmacy network in Canada, Shoppers Drug Mart. And they announced an agreement whereby certain drugs covered by patients in Manulife under Manulife would only be able to be fulfilled by Loblaw-owned pharmacies, such as Shoppers Drug Mart. Now, on the face of it, this exclusivity deal is blatantly anti-competitive, and it's something that either violates various laws or regulations, in which case authorities really should step in as quickly as possible to prosecute, or it doesn't violate any laws or regulations, in which case the Canadian federal government and provincial governments and regulatory bodies really need to take action immediately to bar such cozy arrangements. Now, what are the benefits of this deal? It's easy to see why Loblaw would want this deal. This agreement covers certain types of specialty drugs that are some of the most expensive ones on the market, those ones that cost $10,000 per year or more. And so Loblaw profits tremendously every time a person fills one of those prescriptions at one of its pharmacies. And since many people choose to have just a single pharmacist, coercing patients or giving them strong incentives to use only Shoppers to fulfill their prescriptions means that Shoppers will get their business for any other drug. So they get not just the most profitable drugs, but all the other drugs that those particular patients have as well. Really sweet deal for Shoppers. It's harder for me to see how Manulife benefits. My best guess is that Loblaws is providing a bribe or kickback of some sort, though I'm sure that in their contract they use different terms, something like discount or rebate, in order to secure the exclusive rights to fill these specialty drug prescriptions. And to the extent that some patients choose to stay with their existing pharmacists for whatever reason and shoulder the enormous cost themselves, Manulife also benefits because then they get to save on the expense of on those drugs. There's not going to be a claim that they have to pay out on for some of the most expensive drugs. So that's why Manulife would agree to that, in my opinion. Now, according to the interview that I heard, Manulife says that they're moving to the single provider for the benefit of their customers. And similarly, Loblaw has claimed that this arrangement will provide more options and greater choice for those covered by these group benefit plans. Now, how restricting access for necessary drugs to a single pharmacy chain how that is in any way beneficial or can be construed as providing greater choice. This was left as a exercise for the listener's imagination. If a patient goes to a Shoppers Drug Mart, I mean, that's fine. I've got nothing against Loblaw. I've nothing against Manulife. I've nothing against Shoppers Drug Mart. And many people choose to have them as their pharmacists. And many people already do. And so that it's not going to affect those customers, existing customers at all. But if a patient uses anybody other than a Loblaw-owned pharmacy, it's a non-trivial disruption at best for them. If this arrangement is allowed to stand, Loblaw and Manulife will almost certainly benefit, but patients and other pharmacies will suffer. But it goes beyond just the unfairness and the anti-competitive nature of this deal itself, because there's no reason to think that this will be the end. This would be only the first step. Loblaw will have every incentive to extend this exclusivity in subsequent deals down the road for every other specialty drug, for everything else that costs a lot of money that is very profitable, to ensure they have a lock on that market for more and more. For the same reasons and with the same market dynamics that underlay the existing deal. And I'm sure that after negotiating a generous kickback or rebate or consideration of some kind, Manulife will also sign on, and patients covered by Manulife will effectively have no choice but to use exclusively Loblaw-owned pharmacies, rather than leaving the choice of who to fulfill their subscriptions to, leaving that choice to the consumer. And other companies are certainly watching this closely. Yeah, I would be surprised personally if Rexall is not currently in talks with Sun Life, another major insurance company, to create a similar cartel. If such a deal does come to pass, then those covered in their group benefit plans by Sun Life will suffer in the same way that Manulife patients are suffering today, and that they will have to go to, for example, only Rexall pharmacies to get some of their prescriptions filled if they want to be covered. And independent pharmacists losing many of their customers and most of their most highly profitable prescriptions will go out of business. So patients suffer from a lack of choice. They won't have the benefit of the pharmacist being able to maintain their relationships with their existing pharmacists who have the history and know the various other prescriptions that they're going, or they'll have to split their pharmacy providers so that nobody has a complete view, or they will be forced to move to Shoppers, or under another scenario to a Rexall or to another chain. And independent pharmacists will go out of business. And this is how yet another industry in Canada becomes an oligopoly. It becomes less competitive, more consolidated, and this is to the detriment of all but a very, very few. So please, if you have any say, if you know anybody in the regulatory bodies or in government, contact them, get them to stop this deal. Enough. We need to stop this madness now before it becomes business as usual. Thank you. That's my diatribe. Please let me know what you think. I can always be reached at podcast@centerforinquiry.ca. I promise to read everything that you write and to respond when I can.